So a while back, I made a video on why the WCA should remove clock, and I realized I made two big mistakes in that video. First one was not owning a clock. So I've had one for a few months. I will say I don't really solve the clock, but I know how to solve it, and I've owned it for a few months. Second thing I made as a mistake was simply just not doing enough research about the other side, people who support keeping clock. So I want to do this video to make things up. I want to make a video where I come up with 5 good things to say about clock. Okay? So the first good thing I'm going to talk about is very simple, which is that the Rubik's clock is pretty easy to solve. Learning how to solve the clock wasn't very hard, so overall it's pretty easy to solve. Second thing I want to talk about, Rubik's clock is a relatively quick event. That is nice for WCA because one huge thing when it comes to WCA events is if it takes too long, it can be a little hard to organize. Good thing is it's pretty quick. Third thing I want to talk about is its popularity. Clock has been getting pretty popular, and I think that just shows to how much people actually like clock and want to keep in the WCA. Fourth thing I want to talk about is how easy it is to buy a clock. And that's because buying a clock is super simple. All you have to do is pick one of 2 clocks. If you have the money, you get the Qi. Otherwise, you get the Sheng Xiao. By the way, just a quick plug, I'm sponsored by The Cubicle. If you want to get any clock, you can go to The Cubicle, use discount code KEEP, CWB at checkout, and get yourself a clock. Yes. Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about is diversity. In my video, I talked about how clock is very different. My original video, I talked about how clock is very different than other events, and that's why it should be removed. It was too different. But you can also argue diversity is good for the puzzles, right? Because there's already people arguing that like big cubes are too similar, 5, 6, and 7, right? They're all so similar. So should any of them be removed, right? Should 7 by 7 go, 6 by 6 go? And with that said, clock is something entirely different. And with the other reasons combined together, clock's honestly not as bad as I think it is. Okay? I mean, do I regularly practice clock? No. Right? I'll be honest, I don't practice clock because I do prefer other events. But does that mean clock needs to be removed? Maybe not, right? Clock is an interesting event in terms that it's unique and actually surprisingly not bad.